Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing your 2025 astrology prediction. Watch this if you are Aries, Sun, Moon or Rising. Of course, check for your rising sign first and then check for your Sun and Moon as well. And I am super excited. The energy feels finally right to record your video. So whenever you're watching this, Happy New Year. I'm wishing you all the best. You know, as always, if you like this type of videos, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and all the information about current offerings, our Patreon, our membership of the channel and similar things is gonna be in the description box down below. Anyway, you guys, let's get started. What a year ahead we have. And yes, I'm gonna go over some of the most important transits for you for the year ahead. I will give you my opinion on this, what I think you need to, get excited about, and some of the things to be a little bit more careful with. And anyway, you guys, without any further ado, let's get started. So the year starts for you, of course, as you already know, with your ruling planet Mars being retrograde. So Mars is retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which, yes, it is at its fall in the sign of Cancer. It is in your 4th house, and it's going to stay there for quite a long time. So this Mars retrograde and then Mars turning direct. I made a separate video about this, but it is a very major transit for you, specifically for the year 2025. Why? Because you are Aries, you are ruled by Mars. So, it is an important transit for everybody, but for you especially as a Mars ruled sign, it is that much more important. And for you, this has to do with the area of your home, your property, your family. So there could be, I don't want to say that there will be, but there could be some disputes, maybe some disagreements when it comes to family members. And if it's not that, there could be just if you own any properties or there's something happening in your place of living, there might be, again, might be is the key word, more repairs you might need to do, or just you might need to pay more attention to your place of living, to your home, family, because whenever Mars goes retrograde and stays for as long in that specific area of your chart, yes, it does bring up some issues, but at the same time, it gives you a lot of opportunities to, to restructure, to improve, to rebuild whatever needs that rebuilding, so you can come out of the situation even stronger than you were before. Mars will come back to Leo, to your 5th house, approximately in April, where it's going to stay till June, essentially. So first half, of the 2025 is very much characterized by this Mars retrograde / Mars turning direct in Cancer and in Leo, which for you is 4th and 5th house. So family, kids, property, creative ventures, your own business, all these things are extremely important for you in 2025. And again, especially because you are Mars ruled signs, I do feel like probably for the first half of the year 2025, this is where the most of your focus is going to be. And essentially the first 5-6 months of 2025, I really think you're going to be focused on the 4th house and on the 5th house matters, which, it will depend how it plays out for you. This is why your personal chart is important, and of course your personal life situation. But I do feel like when we come back to Mars and Leo in April, you might feel like you finally, figured out your situation, what you're doing. Again, it's about your creativity, it's about children, it's about your own business, it's about having more fun in life. So even though maybe the first few months could feel a little bit heavy, or you might feel like you have to deal with all the things you don't want to deal, whether again it's about your properties, whether it's about family, there is going to be a resolution and feeling much more like it's fun again when Mars re-enters the sign of Leo. Now we will also have the final eclipse in the sign of Aries, in your sign. This eclipse is going to be taking place on March 29 at approximately, I think, 9 degrees of the sign of Aries. So again, this is the final eclipse from the series that started all the way in 2023. We had the nodes ingress, of course, in the summer 2023 into North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra. So for a lot of you, there were a lot of changes in your life. There was this push to let go of maybe draining or toxic connections, toxic relationships, dynamics and contracts that were not balanced, and to focus more on your own identity. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's almost like there's a culmination with this eclipse, with this Mars that's finishing its retrograde, turning direct in Leo. And there is a sense of like, wow, there was quite a journey where you had to take your power back, maybe perhaps even, in some kind of way, step back into what feels like more authentic and true self. Yeah, in many ways, this is like a grand finale indeed. And of course, also as we start in the year in January, North Node will shift into Pisces, South Node will shift into Virgo. For you, it's your 12th and 6th house axis. So check in with, with Taurus and with Scorpio. Ask them what they've been through in the past couple of years. Because for you now, the focus is going to be very different one. From self and relationships, the focus now is on your 6th and 12th house, which is work, physical health, exercise regimen. It's also, any kind of debts you have, any kind of problems you have, resolving those. And with the 12th house, especially with North Node and Pisces being in the 12th, it's perhaps letting go, removing obligations and responsibilities that are not really yours. Maybe you're doing too much with the South Node and Virgo in the 6th. And with North Node in the 12th, it's about embracing that spiritual journey, going deeper within yourself, maybe resting even a little bit more. When North Node is in the 12th house, there is something about maybe going a bit for a travel, pilgrimage could be auspicious during that time. It could be just deepening your spiritual practice, resting more, taking care, of yourself more. Because again, with South Node in the 6th, especially when it's in a Virgo placement, you might have felt like you're overworked and you might need to review whether all responsibilities are yours to carry or you are just doing too much. South Node and Virgo sometimes do too much in various areas of their life. But here it's more about work, health, your day-to-day responsibilities. Of course, another big news, which everyone is talking about, is Saturn and Neptune both ingressing Aries, your sign. Of course, those of you who are first kind of few degrees of Aries, early born Aries, are the ones who are going to feel it the most. But I think when there is such a monumental ingress of such major planets that happens in your sign, everybody feels it. Even if you are later born Aries, even though you are not going to be immediately affected by the transit. Again, something about especially a generational planet like Neptune entering your sign, I do think that in a collective we feel definitely a shift in the wind. And Saturn will enter Aries. It's going to stay there from May to August. It's going to re-ingress Pisces after that. And Neptune will enter Aries between March and October. Then it's going to also re-ingress into Pisces for the very last time. Yeah, that is quite a lot to deal with. You have the final eclipse in your sign. You have you have so much energy concentrated in your sign, and even Mars retrograde, even though it's not in your sign, is your ruling planet. So, and then you have the Saturn and Neptune entering your sign. So Saturn and Neptune, they couldn't be far more different from each other, because Saturn is all about borders, boundaries, personal boundaries, limitations, structures, and Neptune is literally, I don't want to say it's the opposite of that, but Neptune is a very different energy. Neptune dissolves borders, dissolves boundaries. Neptune is that ocean, right? Like when we look at the ocean, there's really no structure to it. It's like it's water. try, right? And tame it. You look at the ocean, it's like it just keeps going and going and going, and you don't fully understand it. You know how they say, right? There are so many mysteries about the ocean, how deep it really goes, like what's really underneath, are aliens there, what is there, So that's your Neptune. Of course, what's interesting about this is that Neptune is going to be the one who comes and knocks at your door, so to say, first. It's going to stay there March to October, so technically it's going to stay there longer than Saturn. And I mean, it's going to stay there longer, not just in 2025, but in general. Neptune in the sign of Aries, I will be making a separate video about this where I specifically focus on that aspect. It's going to stay there for a long time. And it hasn't been there since, I want to say, 19th century sometime. I don't remember the exact date. So that is the transit that is, I don't want to say that it's more important, but it's like, it's even looking at this ingress going there first. I feel like for a lot of you, especially those of you who are early born, there might be a sense of like you're figuring out who you are, what you believe in, maybe even what you even want to do with your life, maybe a little bit even from scratch. So it might feel like it's from scratch because, again, remember, right, you just got done with eclipses on your 1st and 7th house axis. There is this Mars retrograde that can bring you some surprises too. And now with Neptune in Aries, it's almost like, it's kind of like when everything is uncertain, anything is possible. That's kind of like is the phrase, I guess, that comes to mind, if you will. So again, like it's very interesting how it's going to play out. I'm not going to claim to know, everything about this transit simply because we haven't had it, in on a personal level, right? We've never experienced that. But maybe you will be surprised by how open your mind is towards certain things. You might actually become much more spiritual. It's kind of like the Neptune energy. It's The pros of it is that you become much more spiritual. You really feel that higher connection with God. It's creativity too. The more potentially negative could be is that if you don't feel structures, if you don't know what you truly believe in, you can feel very lost. Now, I ask also, I guess, like Pisces in recent years, how they've been dealing with this. I'm a Virgo moon, and I've been having a Neptune opposition transit. Different energy, and I have to say, like, I'm glad that's going to be over soon. Hope the aftermath of this we will also be able to fix relatively quickly. But see, again, it depends really on a sign the transit occurs in. For me as a Virgo with North Node in Pisces, for me as a Virgo, I have to say that's why, you know, Pisces is the opposite sign. Neptune Pisces transit was, oh my goodness, like yeah. But on a positive level, I guess it made me much more spiritual, even more spiritual, have this sudden, you know, connections with the divine, I guess, for the lack of better word, not to sound too cringe. So it's definitely going to be a spiritual transit for you. And it's interesting because maybe some of you will be experiencing this feeling of like, oh my God, I don't even know. Maybe you will have a spiritual awakening and you will feel like you don't know anymore what you believe in, like everything you've been taught or everything you've been doing, now it doesn't seem relevant anymore. Sometimes when spiritual awakening occurs, that's what people feel. But it's interesting because when Saturn enters Aries in May, right, in May, it's gonna actually give you a bit more structure. It's almost like gonna be like, okay, you know, you're not lost. We gotta pay our bills. You know, we gotta establish some routines. Maybe we gotta remember, you know, who we are, so to say. You know, what's interesting? It gets even more interesting because we will also have Venus retrograde in your sign. March to April, Venus will retrograde, will start in Aries, go back into Pisces, come back to Aries. March and April, we have this Venus retrograde on top of everything. Right around the time, in the midpoint, if you will, between the Neptune and Saturn ingress into Aries. So Aries, you are like, you know, you are the center, so to say, of this year. Like you are the star. The most attention is focused on you. And of course, I've been giving this advice in some of my other videos. I don't know if you watched it or not, but my advice was, because we have North Node, right, and South Node finishing their journey on Aries Libra axis, and North Node is going to be at that 0 degrees of Aries right as we're finishing 2024, right as we're entering 2025. And I think, again, because this is the degree, right, that's going to be activated in 2025, and it's kind of like the seed level, so to say, of this whole transit, try to set positive intentions for yourself for, you know, 2025 and for the future ahead when that North Node is at that 0 degrees of Aries, because I do believe it can make a difference. Make positive intentions for yourself, for the world perhaps as well, because this is a global transit. Yes, I will do a separate video for that. But make those positive intentions that you will start, yes, even if you feel like you're starting from scratch and life is not what you thought was going to be, you will make the best of it no matter what. So let me know how this goes, Aries. I guess I mentioned most important things here. Actually, no, I haven't finished this video yet. I haven't mentioned all the transits. Jupiter, of course, is another important transit for you. Jupiter is going to stay in Gemini for the first half of 2025, which is your third house, and it's going to enter Cancerian in the second half of 2025 in June. So again, your fourth house axis was activated in the beginning of the year, right? So maybe again there was some repairs or some issues with family you had to deal with, or from in the very foundation of your life. And starting the second half of 2025, when Jupiter enters there, it should bring you more blessings, more ease in that specific concentration, you know, of affairs in your chart. So Jupiter in the fourth house will really help you when it comes to family, property, relationship with family members, your properties, your real estate, your vehicles. Actually, I have a few Aries friends. Some of them recently, out of nowhere, had their cars broken down. A lot of issues, repairs in their rental properties that they have. With a few of my clients, I think. So don't freak out. I don't want to tell you that this is definitely going to happen to you as well. But again, if there's any issues, what's very promising is that whatever issues you're facing now, in the second half, especially of the year, there's going to be the opposite of that. You will have more blessings. Again, some people like to argue how Jupiter doesn't always bring blessings. Again, it's a very limiting perspective, because yes, sometimes it does feel like Jupiter brings you some issue, but really in the bigger scheme of things, sometimes that small issue is the reason why you avoid much bigger issue. And that's what a lot of people, I think, are not intelligent, you know, unfortunately, in the astrology community to understand. Because again, we as humans, we have a very, very limited perspective. Sometimes that little issue that you are complaining, oh my God, why did Jupiter bring me that issue? that little issues that saved you from a much worse situation. And that's kind of like the nature of Jupiter. Yes, it will bless you as much as it can, but sometimes it is those little things that may be annoying. Again, all these things would depend on somebody's individual chart. This is very general, obviously, to just get an idea, but sometimes those little things are what ends up, to save you from something far more worse. And again, just because we don't see it, it sometimes doesn't seem that way. But yeah, Jupiter will really help you in the fourth house matters. And again, you still have in the first half of 2025 opportunities with Jupiter in the third to improve your skills, communication, relationships with siblings could be. So, make the most of this transit, so to say. Now, I do think it's amazing for you to use that first half of 2025 to, of course, sharpen your skills, learn new skills, because also what's interesting is that in July, in July, Uranus is going to enter Gemini. Now, it's been in the sign of Taurus since, when was that? 2017, I want to say. Right. It's been shaking up your finances. It's been bringing all kind of unexpected issues. Maybe for some of you with finances, also unexpected opportunities to make income. But now with Uranus finishing its journey in the second house, there might be some kind of turnaround in your financial situation. And there will be now more focus in your third house. Again, it's interesting because Uranus in Gemini is all about, it's going to be interesting how it plays out, because we never had this transit in technological age. Before, when Uranus was in Gemini, when was it, in 40s, something like that, we did not have the AI and internet and all the technology we have today. So definitely it's going to be very interesting to see how this transit is going to be playing out when we have this much technological revolution that already happened. Will we have super intelligence? But of course, this is the topic for Uranus and Gemini, separate video. For you specifically, Aries, it's going to be about, again, unexpected opportunities with technology, with machine learning, but it can bring you a lot of interesting experiences in the third house area of your chart, learning opportunities, creative opportunities, opportunities with technology, utilizing technology to achieve your goals. Unexpected maybe trips could even happen. I was actually born with Uranus in my third house. For better or for worse, I think for better. I do think I am an unconventional thinker. Like, sometimes the way some thoughts come to my head, people are like, where did you get that from? So Uranus in the third house actually is fun. However, it does bring a bit of sometimes irrational thinking could be, or sometimes just your communication with people around you could be a bit weird sometimes. There are unexpected scenarios, unexpected situations when traveling could occur. A lot of travel could occur that somehow you unexpect. Very often when I go traveling, I have no plan, and then I end up traveling. This happened, lately I don't travel as much anymore, but some time ago I would go on all these trips, and a lot of them would happen without any, I would never plan my vacation like people do a year ahead. It would sometimes be literally in 2 days, that's it, I'm packing up, I'm going somewhere, and then from that trip another trip emerges. My first Burning Man, even, I went there. I was moving out of my Manhattan apartment, and 7 days before Burning Man I got my ticket. I didn't even plan going, and I have 7 days to pack my bags and also back for Burning Man. It was crazy. Yeah, I guess if not all, this is one of the ways how this type of transit could play out. So good luck, Aries. I think, this is all the main transits you need to be aware of. Of course, if you want your personalized consultation, those links to book those are going to be in the description box. We still have a few availability for those left. So this is officially last call, last chance. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you happiest new year. I hope all of these transits will be life-changing to the better, and you'll be very happy and blessed in 2025. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure to join us on Patreon as well. I love you all, and we will talk soon. Happy New Year. Bye.